How you feeling, man?
I'm good. Yeah, getting back to it. I feel like I'm really close to getting back, and practicing today will be good. Took a little bit longer than I thought to rehab, but could be because 31. But training staff got me right. The equipment staff everybody's been busting their butt to get me back. Likewise for myself too. So I'm excited to get back out there.
You think there's a chance Sunday, or you just going to see how the week goes?
Yeah, I think there's a high chance.
High chance.
High chance.
It took a little longer. Did you think you were going to play last week, or how did that go down?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was obviously a progression of things that you need to, obstacles you have to, kind of checklist off the box before you kind of get back on the field. And, certainly wasn't going to go out there on the field day one and just go right back into team, plays. There's only so much you can really simulate unless you're on the field doing it. So, I mean, there's just, without getting too specifics, there's just like some healing things that have to happen, along the week. But, yeah, so tried my best to get out there, but just, talk to the trainers. It could be this week, could be next week, kind of one of those deals.
What's this season been like for you? It kind of feels like you've been kind of dealt physical stuff kind of back to back to back.
Yeah, it was frustrating. The neck thing, I couldn't feel like I can control that. The knee thing, it just flared up to the point where I couldn't mentally or physically go through that another week. I thought that cleaning it up at the time was the best thing for me in my performance to help the team. Obviously, missing the 2 weeks there, then going on IR for short term was frustrating. Going into year 9, going to my last year of my contract, and not being able to help my team be on the field, right? So I think that's the hardest part. But I think like you've seen the offensive line, we've gone down in some positions here and there, but I think you've seen a lot of guys step up and do a great job. So frustrating personally, but as a room, I think I'm really proud of the performance that we've all gone out there and done throughout the year. We haven't played our best at times, but we've always just keep moving forward.
Without getting into any specifics that you can't talk about, Braden's going through something. Have you guys been able to kind of, let me rephrase that. How's he doing? Have you guys been able to interact with him, talk to him, and what can you share?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's some of those things I feel like, having gone through personal stuff myself, I think it's you want to hear from people, but I feel like sometimes you, as a other person on the other side, don't want to be overbearing. So you kind of give them their space to do what they have to do, heal what they have to heal. So we obviously mentioned multiple times that we're here for him, praying for him, whatever he needs in his journey and his family's journey. So he's obviously a longtime brother of mine, and so he's doing what he has to do to get right.
He's played through. I mean, he's had that knee issue for a while. I know when he goes through the play, just what have you kind of seen from him from a distance, just what he goes through to get on the field on Sunday and just what it means to him?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, that's the special part about being inside the facility, right? Being inside the locker room is that we see things that guys play through that nobody else can see, right? And it's like the things that don't get talked about, the amount of time it goes into just getting back to like a somewhat of a baseline or playing at 60% of what your best could be. And we'd all like to feel 100%, but that's not the case. So I think, he's certainly up there with one of the toughest guys on the team as far as battling through a lot of injuries and knees. And the knees can be hell, man. I mean, it's just hell for an offensive lineman to get back from. And so he's doing what he has to do right now to take care of what he has to take care of. And the Earthstates have supported him, the organization supported him, we support him, and it takes a lot of guts to do that. So,
Brian, you've always said how you were looking forward to year 10, year 11, whatever. The time off and the injuries, have they changed your long-term approach, your idea of what might be next year? Do you still want to keep playing?
Yeah, I mean, I think once I hit year 6 or 7, I realized that year 7 was really 2 years. Year 8 was another 2 years. So just because it's another year, I feel like sometimes it can also be a year and a half or 2 years, just to base off how you feel. But the one thing I do is I still love the game. Like that's the thing that's you're not 23 anymore. You're not a rookie where you can just bounce back from a lot of things. But I think you learn how to be smarter with your preparation and your body. Certainly. My knee may never be the exact same ever again, but what I can do mentally and push through, I never made a decision in season, so I always make a decision off the season. But I still love the game. I miss it, not being out there with the guys. That's what I miss the most.
Has it crept into your mind at all that this could be your last games inside of Lucas Oil Stadium here to close out the year?
Yeah, I knew that when I was going into the season. Didn't have a second contract, or didn't have a contract extension, right? So, it is what it is. We don't know when our time is due. it's the amount of guys who are able to say this is when I'm walking away for this reason and have all the control over that is slim to none. I have no idea what my future holds. That's the one thing I realize after I lost my daughter, if I went through 22 season, didn't know if I'd be here in 23, Pro Bowl in 23. It's like, I don't know what happens in 25. Like, I have no idea. But like, I know that this year, injury-wise, hasn't gone the way I wanted to go. But I can control what I can control, and I've got potentially 3 games left as a Colt, right? So I'll play those the best I can and see how far the cards lay after that.
How hard is it, you've been here, the time you've been here, to reload when so much was on the line last week? And now it's really, I mean, going to be hard to make it, to finish out and kind of regroup and finish out strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way to put it is that you don't risk anything less. You know what I mean? You're not risking anything less going out there on Sundays, the way you did last week versus this week. I mean, there's still the chance of serious injury. You still get a chance to play the game that you love since you've been playing when you were a kid. Those things never change based off the scenarios of playoffs, non-playoffs, so it doesn't matter. And you're not guaranteed, another year in this league. And so, hopefully I'll go out there Sunday and play with my guys, and it'll be the best time ever. And I think you just cherish those, when you're still a long shot away. Crazier things have happened, right? So you just play every single play like it's your last, every game like it's your last, and just push it to the very end and see what happens.
Bernie said it's a blessing to play any game. So that's the approach you have to take, isn't it, as a player? It
is. I've been fortunate to play, into the 100s, think about the amount of people that have washed out or not made it. It is special. You train from the time the season's over, you take a break and you start training for the next season, right? And you don't know what the obstacles are going to come April into training camp, into the season. There's always something. I think you just keep pushing through and try to make the best career you can.
Some of the other vets have talked about feeling the same type of feeling of getting close and maybe not getting close enough. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about just the way the season has gone with some of the expectations coming into it?
Yeah, I feel like some kind of, in a way, you're a little helpless when you're on IR, right? Because you want to be out there helping your guys and you can't. And so, yeah, it's disappointing, right? I think, the second half of the last game, right? You wish you could have that back, but I think it's one of those things you get into football, you start getting into week by week and you just kind of roll into your Monday, then your Tuesday. And although the outside writes this, that, and the other, your Wednesday still looks the same. You have a choice whether you can go get better or get worse in the field. And you have an opportunity to embrace the guys that are around you, play with them for another play with them for another game, another 3 games, and cherish that moment, or just dwindle it away and say, well, whatever. So I think you can look back and you have 2 choices in your career of what you want to do. I think the other guys in the room and on the team realize that there's still 3 games to go. So we're going to give everything we got, but certainly, yeah. It sucks when you're a little bit of a long shot to make the playoffs again.
Zaire, how much do you care about the Pro Bowl?
I would say that everybody on the team has personal goals and certain things that you want to achieve. Obviously, first and foremost, my goal is to help lead this team and be the best leader, best teammate that I can be. And a part of doing that is raising my level of play, being the best version of myself. When Inky came in this offseason, I asked him in front of the team about, how do you handle, personal goals along the line of that with team goals. And, his answer to me was, as you continue, whatever you're a part of, as you continue to raise your value, you're raising the value of which you are a part of. So that being said, as I continue to grow and become a better player, then the teams and everything I'm a part of will eventually grow and become a better player. So every year I just come in and try to be the best version of myself every day. Come in and try to be the best version of myself, and hopefully, that will be recognized.
Is this sometimes the tackles kind of disguise good or bad? Mm-hmm. But you've had the interceptions, the sacks. Is that what really maybe you were looking for this year? Is the next level of your game? Making plays. I don't know.
Yeah, I think every year I've come in trying to expand my game and find ways to impact the game. And I think to a certain extent, obviously tackling is in my opinion, a measure of hustle and determination and just being around the ball. From day one, I was told a linebacker's job is to hit the ball. So I just finished Ray Lewis's book. He said if he had 10 tackles, he had a good game. So that's what Ray Lewis say. I don't know, but that being said, playing with great players and being around all the greatest players take the ball away, and they help affect and change the game. And that's something that I've been focusing on. I've been putting a lot of time in, made a lot of sacrifices to expand that part of my game. I think it's starting to show up, but I feel like I got even further to go. So.
Zaire, what does DeForest Buckner mean to this defense?
He's the foundation. I think he's the leader. He's the one that rights the ship. I think, for me, personally, he's a sounding board to help me deal with different things in the locker room, different things. Just trying to grow as a teammate, as a player, as a father. Like, he's a great man. I think he's somebody that, not only myself, but a lot of guys in this locker room lean on, both on the field and off the field. So,
how does his consistency in his preparation, whether teams winning, teams not winning, how does that impact the locker room?
Whenever you see the best player is also the hardest working player, I think that's just contagious, because then for younger guys, they see that it's not just talent, it's not just being put in a certain position, it's guys relentlessly inching to get better. When you see a guy like DeForest, a guy like Quentin, like a guy like Kenny, like those type of guys, when they having success and then they're not satisfied with it, they continue to push themselves to raise another level, to continue to find that other inch. I think that's just infectious throughout the whole team.
JT mentioned that it meant a lot to have you and others come up to him after that play. You've done that with other players as well. But why, in those moments, do you feel like I got to make sure they know you have your back, but just doing it in the moment?
Me personally, as a leader, I just feel like in those moments, like that's the time where you're truly going to be able to build a connection with somebody. JT breaks off and runs long touchdowns since I've met him. Me congratulating him, me and him have a personal relationship of when he scores or I make a play, me and him go to each other like, all right, look, come on, let's go. Like, that's me and him feeding off of each other. But it's in those moments of like the whole world, or you just feel like you made a mistake. Like, in my opinion, those are moments where you really get to find out who has your back. After you make a great play, you can't even make it to your seat without the whole team, coaching staff, training staff, strength staff, everybody smack you in the head, right? But when you make a bad play, it's the partner of the Red Sea. You got to make that long walk by yourself. So whenever a teammate makes a mistake or does something that they wish they could have back, I always make it a point to go out there and have a back and support them the same way I would want to be supported in my worst moments.
When you talk about having a teammate's back, how have you or the other players, we talked to Ryan Kelly about Braden Smith, about being there for him. Mm-hmm. How important is it to, whether you're a leader or whether you're the 53rd guy, to show compassion, whatever, with the teammate?
I think that's just where spending time outside of the building really helps. It's we got together, I would say last week, and I would just say, man, it was just cool to take my captain hat off and just hang with the guys. You know what I mean? And I would just say, no, just on our side. But I would just say, like, in the locker room, sometimes it's better to have a conversation not about run fits or not about pass fits, but about how somebody else is doing. We all handle and deal with the pressures and demands of the life that we live differently. And that's when, we all need somebody in the building to lean on. And I know that O-line is an extremely tight-knit group. Obviously I've been with Braden since we got drafted together. We don't have the closest personal relationship, but obviously he knows I'm there for him. And, I'm supporting and I can help him any way I could possibly can.
Your defense played well against the Broncos, forcing three takeaways. How do you keep that positive momentum going through the next 3 games?
I think that great performance started this week, last week in practice. I think everybody's attention to detail, I think everybody's urgency was where they needed to be. So I think to continue that going, it starts today at practice.
Julian, big news of the day, Juju designated to return to practice. What does he bring, just having him back out there with you guys in the secondary?
Intensity. He's another guy that can turn the ball over, so we're really excited to get Juju back. I know that he's been itching to get back on the field, but he's done all the recovering that he needs to, and he's gotten himself back, so excited to see what he does.
When you have a young player who has endured so much adversity early in his career, as one of the vet guys who has also, experienced that for himself, what do you try to do from, a leadership standpoint, guidance perspective, and trying to keep him, level, keep him steady coming back?
I just try to remind him that all the work that he's put in for this moment, it's going to pay off. Just to trust himself, trust his feet, trust where he is, and just remember how hard it was to get here, and just to remember the feeling that he had when he wasn't playing. Because when you don't have football, I think you start to realize how much you miss it, and so just being able to have him back and coming with that perspective, I'm excited for him.
We always hear that takeaways come in bunches. When you have a performance, of course, defensively with 3 takeaways, can that carry over into the next week?
Definitely, and that's one thing that we were stressing when we were out there doing our walkthrough as well, is just making sure that we try to implement that this week. So we're excited for the challenge ahead, and I think we can do it.
What do you have to implement over the course of the week to make that so effective and successful come Sunday?
I think it's the way that we practice, and just understanding the way that they want to attack teams and being able to execute in practice. The plays that guys were making in the game were plays that we were making in practice. So it's something that's cliche, but it's true. You practice the way that you play, and it'll all come to light.
There's always tons of familiarity with a divisional opponent. How does Tennessee, though, look a little bit different than when you guys faced them earlier in this season?
They got a little bit of injuries. They got some injuries, so the personnel changed a little bit, but the emphasis is the same. So just understanding that, we played these guys. They're going to have some wrinkles that we're going to have to get used to, but that's part of the game plan that'll happen when the game comes.
I feel like you guys have talked about and have had a sense of urgency for a month plus at this point. What's the level, though, of sense of urgency, or is there another way to even put it when you're in the situation that you are, looking at the schedule you have ahead and what you want to do in these next 3 games?
You got to repeat it. You got to bring it back, and it's the most important game, just like they say, because it's the next game. So for us, it's the same sense of urgency just because we get another opportunity to play on Sunday.
And it's an opportunity at home, first home game in a month. What level of anticipation is there for that?
Super excited because we get the home field advantage. I can't wait to see the fans, and they're going to bring the energy, so we got to allow them to be a part of the game as well by making sure that we make plays. So
the news of the day really from Shane was Juju being designated to return to practice. Having him back on the field with you, what does that bring to this defense?
Oh, man, it just brings juice, man. You see Juju on film. You just see a player that's, 100% every play. When it comes to, effort and just being, there for his guys. He brings intensity to the game, very physical dude. So just having a guy like Juju back on the field, man, I think it means everything to this defense for sure.
We always hear that takeaways come in bunches. You guys obviously got a bunch of them last week against Denver. How much can you carry that over from 1 week into this week?
Oh, man, just like you said, they come in bunches, man. Just, keep the train rolling. And just seeing, how we got those turnovers, just doing the little things right, just bring that into this week, man, just, execute.
Tennessee, a team that you faced, any division opponent, tons of familiarity, but they do look a little bit different. They've obviously endured their share of adversity this season. What stands out to them? What's different about them this time around versus when you saw them earlier in the season?
Oh, man, they have, they got very, explosive skill players, man. I think, that's really what it comes down to, just, eliminating the explosives, which they want. And I feel like that would, be the outcome, that we want. So as long as we eliminate those, I feel like, we'll get, like I said, the outcome that we want for the, end of this game. So,
is this kind of a situation where, they're obviously not where they want to be this season, but, that you're going to get their best shot?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was about to say, it's a divisional opponent, man. It's always going to be, high stakes, just because, in the division, that's just what it is. But definitely going to get their best. I'm sure they're trying to, end the season off right. So, we know it's going to be a high-intensity game. Being at Lucas Oil, in front of our fans, man, I feel like it's going to be a great atmosphere. So,
first home game in almost a month.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy, but your excitement.
I'm about to say, very excited, man. Every single time we have a game in Lucas Oil, our fans show up and show out. So, just to be there in front of them, man, play for them, I feel like, it's going to be rocking on Sunday. So, I can't wait.
talked with Julian about this just a few minutes ago, but it seems like you guys have talked about having a sense of urgency now for a month plus, I think. Yeah. How does that even go to another level? Is there even another way that you take that with, 3 opportunities to go and you still have a fighting chance?
Definitely. Shane said it today in the team meeting. Play for, the person, aside of you, play for your brothers, man, and, attack the day. And I feel like, there's not really much, else to be said on that. Just that alone, I feel like I said, we go out there, execute, be disciplined, man. That's really what it comes down to.